Today's shave is going to feature the Whip Dog tall handle, 24mm, and it's got a Declaration B5 knot in it that I've already kind of pre-soaked. So it's ready to go. Kind of inadvertent tonight. The razor had this Italian barber radio knob handle. The little thing unscrews down here. I don't know why it does that. I mean, I don't know if they had plans to create different bottom pieces. But I like the way the knurling is right up here where I'm holding it and not all over the whole thing. I like the balance of it. I think it looks really good with these thinner heads. I haven't used this handle yet because I just got it, but the Game Changer, the Razor Rock Game Changer, is another thin head. I don't like it all that much. I only have a few blades it seems to work with for my skin. It's just too mild, and it's just not efficient. I've had milder razors that were more efficient. But this is not a Game Changer. It is a Wolfman WR1. Hard to get that reflection right. And I just got it recently. Haven't had too many shaves with it. It has a Nacet blade inside of it that I have been using. I've used it 36 times already. And today is number 37, a Gillette Nacet. The soap for today is a new one that just got here today. It is in the luxury soap base of Catie's Bubbles. Tremendous products coming out of that shop. I like a lot of their fragrances. They do have a lot that are kind of ladylike that I avoid, but they do have some really nice concoctions that are more on the masculine spectrum, not like Chiseled Face, but ones that I really still enjoy, like Midnight Dreary. They have a Santal Sensuel or something that is a great sandalwood scent, and just a whole host of others. This is arrived to me today. It's hot weather, and so I had to kind of, when I got here, I had to jam it down my palm it was all lumped up on one side. And they give you enough loading room by putting it in this deep container, so that's how it comes. It is a 4-ounce amount, and this one is called, it's a rose-based scent, Dirty Prose, and it was one you had to pre-order, and I stay away from rose scents like crazy because the floral ladylike scents are just not at all for me. However, I've pulled out 1/4 teaspoon, and we're going to give it a shot. Seal it back up. What I get right off the tub is the rose scent, and then maybe 60-40, with the 40 being kind of a green scent, almost like a seagrass or something like that. And I bought it because the description showed that it was, the title says Dirty Prose. And so I was hoping that dirty would be a little higher than the rose, because if you can involve a rose or floral scent with some more masculine type, dirty type scents, or musky type scents, then it can be a really beautiful thing and not feminine at all. And because of the description, I decided to order it. Well, then I smelled it off the tub and it was too rosy. I'm a person who doesn't like rose scents. A person who does like rose scents is probably going to think it's a dirty departure, from the rose family, perhaps. So let's take this. It's very creamy in consistency. That's the design of this particular base. And press it into the bottom. Probably don't even need to spread it around too much because it's a cream and it's just going to mix in really well. Okay, so about 1/4 teaspoon of the cream, and I almost sold it or put it up for sale immediately. Actually did immediately after I smelled it. because I thought this is just a rose scent, and there's too much rose in it. It smells like there is some other cool stuff, but it's just not a high enough percentage for me. And but then somebody commented online that a lot of the dirty nature of it opens up, and woody or whatever opens up during the shave, not just from the tub. And that is true for many soaps. They change from the dry tub scent to being on your face. So my brush is now slung out of water about as best as I could do. And my face has had, I did do a pre-wash today. So there's my rose. Let's just start it up with just a damp brush. Then we can start adding water as needed. Yep, we got a paste forming. Very good. Now I'll take my 2 teaspoon syringe and add a half a teaspoon of water and just mix for a little bit. Oh yeah, there are some things that are starting to come out, kind of musky notes. Didn't smell those from the tub. Once the lather kind of looks like it's absorbed the water a little bit, I go ahead and add another half teaspoon. Now, how much water does this guy need? We'll see. Sometimes 2 teaspoons is plenty. Some need 4. Just all depends. So now we've got 1.5 in there. And it is starting to build up. Yeah, something else is coming out that's not just the rose. That's good. Now we've got a full 2 teaspoons in there. Now it kind of looks like it needs more water, but since I put 2 teaspoons in, we're going to stop and kind of do a finger check. And just see. Number 1, do a little squeeze and see how much resistance it gives. Now, rub my fingers across. I am feeling my fingerprint ridges to a small degree, so I think we're ready to stop. Just in case, it's better, easier to add water later. All right, rinse my face, just a splash. Working on a 2-day beard. Usually don't have this long between shaves. Ever since I discovered cool soaps and brushes, razors, I've just really enjoyed shaving so much that I rarely miss a day. Well, I like that it's a medium scented soap. I'm definitely getting, you know, whiffs of it. Looks like maybe I need to add a little bit more water to the brush. Make it a little slicker. Yeah, it looks a little thick. Yep, that'll do. Very nice. So I added another half teaspoon to that. And I feel that's appropriate. Let's see how it feels. Now, it's probably might be a little rough on the first pass here since it's a 2-day shave. And this is a 36-day-old blade. 36 uses. It's cutting nicely. Tiny bit of pulling, but that's kind of to be expected with 2 days for me. I like this handle. I like the balance. So, nice shave. 2 days, it's always kind of rough. I'm sure the second and third passes are going to go much more smoothly. You know, this may be a rose that favors those who don't like rose. Because the rose does fade away during the lather. It's reduced, and the names that jump into my head are maybe like a green seagrass and maybe a little bit of lime. And so that might point to lemongrass. I don't really know what that smells like, but I mean, kind of a green resinous grass. And then maybe a little touch of some kind of lime-like citrus or lemon. But it's really more lime. It's really more a tart lime with the grassy, and that's just what I'm perceiving. There may be no lime notes in here at all, and it could be the other ingredients that are in this mix are just adding up to something that smells like that for me. Very interesting. So the good news is it's not all that much of a rosy scent, but the question still remains: is this still a scent that I would want to keep around? So we'll see. I mean, the performance is obviously terrific. This is a great lather. Very slick. When I rinsed my face off, it was very nice. Easy to get a luxurious, creamy lather from this. I added a little more water to my bowl to kind of equalize the lather, the water that I had to add to my brush. And this is much better. Very nice. All right, now I'm expecting a little bit more smoothness here. Oh yeah. Just feel the cutting. Predictable, stable cutting. And I've discovered with this head that I get better results if I lift the handle away from my face just a little bit. I exaggerated it right there for you. But if I lift it away just a little bit, I get it backs the cut off a little bit. It's not quite as aggressive when I do that. Nice glide from this soap. You know, I mean, something that kind of comes into my mind here is I like the strength because I can actually smell it while I'm using it. And that is what I prefer. If I can't smell it, then why don't I get a cheaper soap that is unscented? Something like that, you know. All right, so that's the second pass down. Very smooth shave, and this is on a 36 use old blade. People say, the ones that have taken blades to 100 uses or more, that it's more about technique than it is about tools. And it's usually when I've been using this blade, I've been testing myself with a post shave that has alcohol in it, and usually there's no irritation. And so maybe that's what's going on. I'm going to rinse off. All right, so that was a wonderful pass. Face felt really slick as I was rinsing it off. So let's get a little bit more lather. Start up with the third pass. Left a little bit of water on my face, so we'll see if the soap thins out too much, or if I have guessed right. I can always just go back in and get a little bit more soap from my bowl. It may look thin at first, but then stop the scrubbing and start the painting, and it usually thickens up because you're able to kind of lay more soap on your skin with the side of the brush. Just because I have it, I'm going to get a little bit more from the bowl. That's one thing I like about the bowl. You get the same consistency lather throughout the whole shave once you've kind of figured out how you like the soap done. You know what I think I've arrived at regarding this scent? It's almost like somebody's taken some long-stemmed roses and thrown them in a blender. Sprinkle a little bit of lime in there and hit puree. And there you go. Because that green smell you could conceive as being from the stems. Then you get the rose smell that's from the petals and the flowers and the, you know, all that. And then a little bit of lime in there. Reminiscent of something. Adagio from Adagio from Barrister and Mann. It's in that family. That's supposed to be like a cherry limeade kind of scent, but what I got from it was that seagrass, lemony, or lime kind of grassy seagrass, resinous grass, instead of any kind of cherry or anything like that. And so this has some of those same components. How about that? All right, lather looks great, not dissipating on my face. Third pass, if I keep the handle a little bit more open whenever I want to have a more mild experience, it should go down as a nice smooth shave. Gentle and very careful in this area not to hold the blade too tightly. So as to just let the blades skim across the surface without digging into anything inappropriate. Being careful with my angle. Very smooth, very comfortable shave here. And right here, it was so well cut, I can lay the razor down and maybe try to dig in just a little bit more and expose the blade more for a really good cut in that area, because it can take it. Great feel. I do have to be careful of it and watch my angles, because it can stir up irritation. This is a 0.67, should have mentioned that. 0.67 gap, and you can see it's the solid bar, not the open comb. All right, I'm going to rinse. Just checked everything out. Got a few hairs exposed right there, so I want to focus on my technique, my directionality in that area. Try to remember what has worked well for me in the past. And let's throw a little bit of water there so that I can put on some lather. Okay, now let's see if we can get those guys. Not really pulling the skin too tight. Just nice and careful. When it feels maybe a little too aggressive, I open up my handle angle very gently. Mindset is, if it doesn't get cut, it doesn't get cut. Can usually only right there, I can usually only go up a little bit before I have to change my razor direction. I'm holding it close in the middle here to allow for plenty of flex in case I come up to an area or bump that I wasn't properly planning on. All right. Rinse. Okay, so I did reduce the population down there, but there are a few that being stubborn, showing some little bit of length. They were cut some, and if you are farther than 3-4 feet away, you probably won't notice them. But that's what kind of standard we're looking at here. 37 uses on this blade, and it is cutting above average for me. Very close. My cheeks, 92% baby butt smooth without going against the grain, which is remarkable. And lather usage, pretty much perfect. Have a little bit more to use, a little bit more on the brush, a little bit more here for margin, just in case I screwed up something, I had to wash it off. There you go. And so I'd say that was perfect. So the 1/4 teaspoon amount, maybe it was a little bit rounded on the 1/4 teaspoon, so seems to be about right for this soap base. And I remembered that from the 322 that I used before. It's kind of more of a dank vetiver, Haitian vetiver type smell, and I remember that's the same base. Very enjoyable. So with this scent, I'm not finding myself thinking about the question of, do I like this rose scent or not? Because the rose is enough in the background. It's been overshadowed by some of the other items, and maybe that's the dirtiness that they were talking about. It's not really a dirt smell to me, but it has been overshadowed, so that I'm not thinking about that kind of question. Instead, it's more of a question of these kind of lemongrass, lime, and seagrass kind of smell that I'm getting along with the rose. Is that a smell that I enjoy? I think I'm going to pass it on because there are just tons of soaps that are enjoyable, and this soap base is terrific, and so if I find some other guys in this soap base, I can always snatch it up, but I've already got one at least, and dries pretty well, doesn't leave the face super moist or anything, so I've got oily skin anyway, but it feels like it has good skin feel after the shave. I don't feel any irritation. I don't see any redness. Let me get a post-shave product out. So I've got a little bit of Stirling Sharp Dressed Man, one of my favorite scents. And let's just see what happens if you kind of combine this wonderful kind of manly scent. And it's got some kind of greenery aspects to it as a part of it. Let's see what happens. Very nice. So yeah, all of a sudden it hit me during the shave. Adagio from Barrister and Mann. This is like taking Adagio plus a little bit of rose. So if you like Adagio, then that might be a good indicator of this particular scent. So it's a well put together fragrance. You know, it's unique. It's there's interest to it. You know, if you like these types of scents, you can tell there's multiple players, and it was well constructed with intelligence and purpose. The rose is a player, but and it does accomplish what I was hoping it would, where the rose would back off a little bit, let some of these other scents come up, and it would be a supporting ingredient that added interest, but it wasn't dominant, and that has come to be. But those other ingredients that have come up, the kind of fibrous grassiness, greenery, maybe a pinch of lime or something like that, those have come up, and it may be a flower that kind of has a high zesty note to it, and that I'm interpreting as lime. I'm just guessing here, folks. I'm trying to do my best to give you the best impression from a layman's point of view, because you can certainly read the scent notes from the internet. And yeah, I think I'll pass this on. It's a well done scent. Just happens to be maybe not for my preferences. And I think there are plenty of guys out there who really enjoy it. I don't think it's a feminine fragrance. The greenery that is coming in, and those other support, the things that are kind of overwhelming the rose just a hair, all those I think add a masculine note to it, and that's pretty cool. So I like that. All right, let's start cleaning up. So the Green Irish Tweed turned out to be a very good match, a very good blend with the Dirty Prose from Catie's Bowls. So any of those, Sharp Dressed Man is what I meant to say, from Stirling. It's a Green Irish Tweed clone, and a lot of different companies offer a Green Irish Tweed version. So if you find a good one, I think it'll pair well with the Dirty Prose if that's one you enjoy as well. So here it is in the jar. One of the taller ones. I think this is what they're doing with their luxury base. The 322 I think came in the same type size jar. Make it a little bit different than their other line. But yeah, and then I only smell the, yeah, I smell a lot more rose when I just smell it dry from the soap. How about that? Interesting the way that works out. All right, there we go. Good shave. No irritation. Enjoyed it. Smooth. This blade is not irritating me yet. Doing a good job. And it's giving me close cuts. It's if I really backed off on the angle so that the blade didn't really touch me too much, I could say it was smooth, but then I wouldn't get a good, efficient, nice cut. But I did. So doing very well with that. Happy about that. See how far I can take this guy. Everything's packed up. There we go. I hope there was something here for you. Hopefully you learned something. And I did my best to describe it as well as I could. This is Sugar Daddy Shaves. Take care. Good night.